Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting with me, Carl the Cobra Froch, former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and International Boxing Hall of Famer. Did I mention that I'm an MBE as well? And I once rendered George Groves unconscious in front of 80,000 at Wembley Stadium, just in case you forgot. This episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Right, so it's official. Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk, the unified, he's not undisputed anymore, Usyk, but he's the unified heavyweight world champion. And he came dressed as a hitman, which is a character from a video game which was also made into a film. Or was it a film that made into I think it was the game first. Anyway, if anybody can dress up like the hitman, he looked the absolute bollocks, didn't he? He looked like a fucking hitman. And he's taken everyone out, so he's very good at his job. I mean, that's a fitting role for Oleksandr Usyk. He looked the absolute nuts. Can I just say, he looked pristine, he looked polished, the red tie, the bald head, the chiseled face. Listen, I sound like a fanboy. Maybe I am a fanboy, but Oleksandr Usyk looked the absolute nuts. Tyson Fury as well, it was all, there's not much to report. Other than Usyk dressing like the hitman and walking in and looking the absolute nuts, there's not much to report. It was all very friendly, very amicable. It's a rematch that needs to happen. The first fight that was probably getting on for 5 months ago was a close fight. Let's just start with this. This fight was very close. Tyson Fury got in there and he tried to box early on, tried to box and move early on in that fight, and I thought that was a mistake. I think he should have probably took the centre of the ring, used his weight a little bit more and imposed himself, but he found himself straight away on his back foot being controlled by Usyk. Usyk had the centre of the ring and he was faking him and going down to the body and landing a lot of jabs. As soon as you let Usyk, a man like Usyk with that experience, get his range and get his momentum and get on his front foot, then you're straight away in a bad position from the very beginning. So Tyson needs to change that. But in the middle stages of the fight, he did change that. He started to have success, rounds 4, 5, 6 and 7. Did he have 3, 4, 5 rounds maybe that was pretty good? Landed a lovely, disgusting uppercut, bosh, straight on the chin of Usyk. Usyk recovered, got himself composed in the corner. I think he asked for his crucifix. He said a little prayer and he came out and finished the fight on his front foot and nearly stopped Tyson Fury, nearly stopped him. He was pushed back onto the ropes, punched from pillar to post and punched back onto the ropes. The referee stopped him before he got that last finishing dirty right hand on the chin, which I think would have wiped out Fury. It was very, very sporting in the way in which he stopped punching Usyk when the ref jumped in. But Tyson Fury was bang in trouble, nearly got stopped, but he survived that round, had 3 more rounds to finish, 10, 11 and 12, and he lost. He lost the last couple of rounds and lost the fight. So Tyson Fury lost the fight fair and square, although it was a very close, let's be honest, it was a close fight. But I think if Tyson Fury would have upped it, I think Usyk would have upped his game as well. I think Usyk knew he was in front. He knew he was in control, albeit he had trouble in the fight. It was hard for him. Both of these guys know they was in a hard fight. So anyway, what I'm getting at is, in the return press conference, I've been involved in 2 rematches. First one with Mikel Kessler, which I lost that fight in a close points decision, and the second one was George Groves, which I won that fight in a very sort of, I'm not going to say it was a close decision because I stopped him in was it round 8, round 9? People dispute the stoppage. Let's not talk about old news because the Cobra won that fight and he won the rematch. I'm talking about myself in the third person, as I usually do. The Cobra, I got the knockout in front of 80,000 at Wembley Stadium. We know what happened in that one. But when you're going into a rematch, you're not bothered about all the jibe talk and all the bullshit. I mean, he was calling him a rabbit in the first fight, calling Usyk a rabbit and showing him a little bit of disrespect and trying to get inside his head. And this time, I just think there's no need for it. I don't think nobody's going to benefit. They both know there was in a hard fight. Usyk knows he won fair and square. Tyson knows he got beat fair and square. So this was very amicable. It was even quite friendly, wasn't it? I mean, both of them said very little. Tyson Fury tried a little tickle around the chest of Usyk to show he's being a bit friendly. Usyk barely flinched, probably give a little smug smile and then backed off. But yeah, I just think this press conference has just told the hardcore boxing fans and the crossover fans that want to see this fight again, just told us that this fight is definitely happening. It's happening December 21st, before Christmas, a Christmas treat for us. And it's going to be a good one, and I really do believe it's going to be a close fight as well. But other than the fact that both guys looked fit and well and healthy, they was both smiling, Tyson Fury more so than Usyk, there's not really a great deal to report. So all I'm going to do is sit back and look forward to and enjoy this rematch, the whole build up to the rematch, which is out in Saudi Arabia. So, who's under more pressure in the Usyk-Fury rematch? I would say, off the bat, Tyson Fury is under more pressure because he suffered his first defeat at the hands of Usyk. And if you go into an immediate rematch and lose the immediate rematch again, then it's kind of like weird you're going at 35 years old, Tyson Fury. I know Usyk's 37, a bit older. Probably less miles on the clock in terms of beating. He's never been beat. He's unbeaten in 20, 21, 22 fights. He's unbeaten. Usyk. Tyson Fury's only had one loss. He had one draw against Deontay Wilder. He's had this first loss against Usyk. But in terms of pressure, Fury is definitely under more pressure because if he loses again, that's kind of, for me, it's game over for him. At this stage of his career, his age, losing 2 times on the spin to the same guy who is, let's be honest, he's the best in the world. He's pound for pound up there as well. Top 3 pound for pound. Oleksandr Usyk. So Fury, for me, is under the more pressure. I mean, Usyk's under pressure, don't get me wrong. He's the unified heavyweight champion. He's not got the IBF belt anymore, as Daniel Dubois has got that. And he sort of solidified himself as a world champion when he tumped up Anthony Joshua. Just finished him off, did he, in round 5. We all saw that. So Usyk's got all the belts except for the IBF. So there's pressure there. But does Usyk feel pressure? Is he bothered? Does he get mentally attached to any of his opponents? Does he really care? I don't think so. I think he's just an absolute machine. He's a consummate professional. He's had over 250 odd amateur fights. Olympic champion. He was unified cruiserweight world champion as a pro. And he's been undisputed heavyweight champ. He's now unified heavyweight champ, unbeaten in the heavyweight division. He stepped up from cruiserweight to become unbeaten, unified, undisputed heavyweight champion. This guy, I don't think, feels pressure, doesn't feel nerves. He'll know what's at stake. He'll know that this fight is probably one of his last fights at this age, 37 years old. He'll know that if he loses this could really tarnish his legacy in a big way. And he's a serious man, and he goes about serious business. Hence the hitman suit and shaven head and neat tie. He actually had a photograph of him punching Tyson Fury in the face in his briefcase, which he opened up. This is what I'm saying. It's all friendly. It's all kind of a friendly atmosphere. The kind of mates, aren't they now? They respect each other. And Usyk pulled out a picture of Fury getting punched. Fury signed it for him. Usyk said he's going to donate it for the Ukrainian war or to the soldiers, something to do with the Ukraine being at war. And Tyson Fury said he looks like Shrek, so he signed the picture and said he looks like Shrek and had a bit of a laugh about it. So I love the friendly banter. I love the fact that they're getting on with each other. But like I said earlier, the respect's there. Both men have got a profound respect for each other because they've shared 12 rounds in the ring. Tyson Fury knows he was banging trouble. He nearly got finished off, nearly got stopped for kind of the first time in his career. I know he's been on the floor a few times, but he was really just hanging in there, wasn't he, in that round? Was it round 10 or 9 when he got smashed from pillar to post and knocked against the ropes and held up by the ropes and nearly finished off? The referee kind of saved the day, didn't he? Then the bell rang at the right time. But he knows he's in a serious fight. Usyk knows he's in with somebody who poses a serious threat. One thing I do like the fact that Tyson Fury is saying he's got to go for Usyk. I don't like it when he's saying, if I don't go for him, I can't win on points. I don't believe that, because that's kind of sort of alluding towards the fact that there's some skullduggery going off, where it's not going to be fair. If it goes to points, he can't win. Well, he can win on points if he lands enough punches and the judges see enough of what they like to say that he's won. But I think what he means by that is, more so than a bad points decision, I think he means if he goes to Usyk, puts it on him, uses his weight, leans on him, which we was all saying in the first fight, tactically, Tyson Fury really needs to use that height and strength, use the reach where he can, but when he gets close, use his weight and his strength, get on top of Usyk, lean on him, push him around the body, similar to, like I said before, like Klitschko did with David Haye. Use that height, reach, strength, weight, and just try and bully Usyk a little bit. When he gets close, just ragdoll him about a bit, bully him, push him, lean on him. That's what we need to see. But both of these guys are under pressure. Tyson's under more pressure than Usyk, but not by a big margin. I don't think Usyk really cares. I don't think Tyson's that bothered. He's made that much bunts. He's now just, he's taking this fight because he has to, because his legacy is, he don't want to finish his career, I don't think, on a loss. And it's not a bad loss, losing to Usyk, but it's still a loss. He's not used to losing. That was his first loss. So Tyson Fury is going to want to redeem himself and get in that ring and try and right the wrong that he thinks. He thinks he won the fight. He's telling everybody he won the fight. Whether or not when his head hits the pillow, he thinks he won the fight is a different story. But if he does think he won the fight or thought it was close enough for him to get the nod, he'll know he can make a few adjustments, use his weight and reach, and just be a little bit busier. So he's going to have to be fitter. And also, it's worth mentioning, I've recently just read in the last 15, 20 minutes before going to audio and to visual, I just read that Tyson Fury's wife actually had a miscarriage before the first fight. And Tyson didn't know for a fact she'd had a miscarriage. I think it's their 8th child. And she was 6 months pregnant. So that's not like a normal miscarriage. That's kind of, because a very close friend of mine's been through this, and you have to actually give birth to the baby when the baby's 6 months old. So it's quite traumatic, very, very traumatic for the mother, obviously, but the father at that stage. So Tyson Fury didn't know that was happening, but he knew there was something wrong. He had a chat with Paris, his wife, before the fight, because she was supposed to go out there, and she didn't go out there. So he would have known there was something wrong. She didn't tell him, but it transpired that that's what happened. She'd miscarried 6 months into the pregnancy, which is devastating. I feel really bad for both of them. I'm sorry for the fact that happened. Tyson would have known, stepping into that ring, or when he was warming up on the pads, or just preparing for the final moments, to say, cometh the hour, cometh the man, and cometh that last hour, in the last hour to the build-up to the fight, before the ring walk, he'd have been thinking, what's wrong with my wife? What's going off? And that would have been in his head, and that would have been a distraction. I know for a fact it would have been a distraction as a former boxer and a fighter in world champion fights. When something's on your mind, you think about it at that final hour. So that would have been a little bit of a hindrance. But as soon as you go in the ring and that bell goes and you start getting punched in the face, you kind of go into autopilot and you do what you need to do anyway. But yeah, really bad news, devastating news for the family. I just want to, it's not condolences, is it? But I just want to offer my sincere sympathies for what went off there, and hopefully Tyson Fury can get in the ring this time and be clear-minded and tunnel-visioned with the job that he needs to do, because he's got a very, very tough job in front of him with Usyk, and Usyk's got he's got a tough job as well. But both guys know they're in a hard fight. It's going to be a cracker. So yeah, I'm not going to give a prediction. I'll give my prediction on fight week. I'll do a big fight preview on the build up to the fight. There's still a long time to go. There's still the best part of 2 months. This fight is December 21st. We're still sitting towards the second half of we're in the second half of October. So yeah, a couple of months and anything can happen. Don't forget the first fight was delayed slightly with an injury. I think Tyson Fury was injured. So I'm just hoping that both these men get through a training camp fit and well and injury free before I give my prediction, because sometimes the training goes well, sometimes the training goes bad. You hear whispers, you see things. I mean, hopefully Tyson Fury just knuckles down and gets his training on and he has no distractions. We know Usyk's going to be in tip-top shape. We know he's the consummate professional. He's a Ukrainian warlord, and he's like I don't know, what is he like? He's just like a master ninja. You go back to the Bruce Lee days and the Mr. Miyagi days of the Karate Kid. You can mention any of them, Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris, any of these guys that you can think about from the 70s and 80s movies. Remember AWA, Absent Without Leave? What was his name? He used to do the box splits on what's his name? Jean-Claude Van Damme, what a guy he is. I mean, the mind, the mental focus, and the discipline that Oleksandr Usyk has got, you just know he's going to turn up in 100% tip-top shape. Even though he's 37, you know he's just going to be absolutely flying. So hopefully Fury can have a similar camp. This fight is close. I can split them. I do think Usyk does the job. I'll tell you why on fight week. The bookies have got him a slight favourite, as I've already mentioned. Very slight favourite, which is fair enough. The first fight was very close. It ebbed and flowed a little bit in the middle. Tyson Fury was having his own way, but Usyk always finds a way to adjust and finds a way. When he has a bad round, he had a couple of bad rounds against Anthony Joshua. Then he turned around, didn't he, and just opened that can of whoop arse and just sticks it on him. He gets the front foot going, he gets the double jab, the head movement. He starts landing that right hand, then he puts 5 or 6 punch combinations together, and the opponents do not know where they are, whether it's AJ, whether it's Tyson Fury, whoever he's in front of. Whether he's ironing out Tony Bellew, Bosch, unconscious, whatever he's doing, whenever he's doing it in that ring, it's just flawless, and it's so good to watch because he's so good. But anyway, enough smoke up Usyk's arse. This fight is great, but let's just hope they both get into the ring in top shape. But there was one thing missing, wasn't it, at the press conference, and there's been one thing missing in the build-up. And to be honest, I hope he doesn't rear his head again. Big John Fury, the fighting man, 100 on the hard road. That man has gone. He's vanished. I've got no material. I've got no Big John material. But listen, Tyson probably knows that actually, listen, Dad, he's probably had the conversation with me. Listen, Dad, I love you to bits. I know you've got my best will. You've got your best intentions at heart. And you want me to win. You want me to do the business. But do me a favour. Stay out of the way. Shut the fuck up. He's probably been a little bit more polite than that. But they don't need Big John Fury in the ring, do they? They don't need him there. So if he surfaces his head fight week, I'll be shocked. If he's in the corner, I mean, you've got Andy Lee and Sugar Hill, two very experienced guys at world level who know the game inside out. You don't need Big John Fury in the corner. You don't need him. So hopefully, Fury just sits back, keeps his mouth shut, watches his son and wills him on to win. Maybe he's in the camp, maybe he's helping him and just keeping the distance and letting the real trainers do the job. But yeah, no Big John Fury. I missed him. Where's John? Where's Big John? Does anybody know? Let me know in the comments if you know where Big John's gone. Right, so that's about it. I've not really got much more to say about the heavyweights. I'll obviously give a bit more of an in-depth look to that on fight week, as well as the undercard. There's a decent, well, it's not a decent undercard, is it? The undercard's a little bit pony. You've got Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen. Johnny Fisher, he's a prospect. He's only 25 years old. There's a lot of hype surrounding him. You know his old man, the big boy who goes, bosh. You must know him. You've seen him on a few adverts lately. So Johnny Fisher taking on Dave Allen. You've got Dennis McCann and Peter McGrail. They have two prospects. The interesting thing about this is you've got Bricktop against Eddie Hills. Bricktop's got McCann. Eddie Hills has got McGrail, and both these fighters are they're both prospects. I know McGrail's been done once, he's been knocked out, he walked into a shot, but they're both prospects, both building. I think McCann's 23, McGrail's 28 years old, and this is, again, like I've said, it's the promoter, it's Queensbury against Matchroom, Bricktop against Hills. So this is quite an interesting fight, but other than that, I mean, we'll go into the undercard a little bit more close to the day. It could be subject to change, but for now, that's about all I want to talk about in terms of undercard, because this fight, really, this show is all about the main event. Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury, and I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to it, I really am. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. Thanks for joining, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Very much appreciated. Listen, I'm not doing too well. I've got a bit of a cold, I've got a head cold, I've got a dodgy throat, I've got a snotty nose. I'm just run down. The wife's not in a good shape as well. She's laid up, she's in bed. But the Cobra don't get laid up from a cold. The Cobra just keeps plodding forward, keeps going on, keeps soldiering, keeps bringing you #1 content. Content that brings us on to be #1 on Spotify. I'm just spitting facts. Don't hate the player, don't shoot the messenger. The best podcast, with boxing podcast on YouTube. The numbers speak for themselves. The numbers don't lie. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving your 5-star review, and get your comments in the box, because I read all the comments. I go through them. Sometimes there's thousands. I can't read them all, but I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll be back with you hopefully by the end of the week. Take care.